arguably is more liberal, right? I'm not coming at this from a Marxist communist perspective and saying, protect Hassan because he's a ML. I'm saying protect Hassan because we're liberals and we protect the First Amendment and invidious viewpoint discrimination.
Bitch, Hassan is not supportive of the First Amendment, you fucking moron. You absolute fucking inbred loser. How many times do we have to spell it out for you? Fuck, okay, sorry, I need to calm down, alright? But, like, hearing Pisco, I don't get how Pisco, after this entire time, he still doesn't get it. He just still doesn't, why doesn't he still get it? I don't get why he's still so clueless about this. No, he's not clueless. He's bad faith.
Only the highest level of compelling purpose that is narrowly tailored will justify that kind of restriction. And it's not present in the context of the restriction that we're talking about. So that even that, like, the broader point is, are you being too deferential to Hassan and what he has to say? Are you being too trusting of Hassan? And that's not the dispute. The dispute is a legal dispute having to do with the nature of the First Amendment and how much it protects and how much it doesn't protect, how much it should protect, which is obviously very different than just like accepting whole face, allegations made by.
That's why they're saying, right, you cannot apply universal principles. Check your Discord. What? Nothing happened. What are you talking about? What's going on? What is this? Oh, did you make this? What is this? You need a codec to play this out.
I just like when you lose.
Oh, wait, hold on.
I just like when you lose. There's so much. There's so much.
Okay, all right, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, this was made by B. Okay, thanks, I guess.
Hassan Piker.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's, I think that's like the reasonable disagreement that you could have, right?
Bro, Dev, Jay Stelk still wants you on his stream. I'm guessing because he wants some kind of avenue into YouTube relevance again or something like that. Like, so then he can funnel more people to a stream. I don't know. He still wants you on the stream. What? How do you know? What do you mean? He clearly wants to talk to you. He hasn't messaged me. Okay, he's a retard then. I don't know. Every single time, bro. Every single time he sees like me and you being associated with one another, he always like makes a disappointed sound. He goes like, "Come on, Dev." That's what he says.
That like, oh, some people just have different thresholds for, like, on balance of, like weighing the different like rights and responsibilities of.
He sounds like
American citizens, that people have different thresholds for how they would apply their principles in this regard. Like, oh yeah, I think like some people. I think I've seen like lawyers that have debated you on this that have just said, I just think that like somebody like Hassan. I just think some people like Hassan like should have heightened scrutiny because of what they've said, and then you've said, well, like I just don't think that Hassan
I want my
basically
chaos
meets
orbs.
this threshold,
Where
right?
the
Or
fuck
that there's
are
some
my
like
chaos
in-kind
orbs?
difference.
Right.
And I think that's a reasonable disagreement. Like, I don't know. I just don't take that to be like the craziest, most like, again, it's not like saying a member of ISIS should just be able to walk into an airport.
No,
just, like,
of
you don't
course
do
not.
like,
No, yeah. So like, so what we're talking about like is if the statements.
Yes, give me my 13 chaos orbs. 13 chaos orbs. I'm sorry.
Would absolutely justify revocation of global entry. I just don't take what Hassan said to meet.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's not what you're saying.
Yeah,
like, you're not saying just like, oh, like, who cares if a guy's holding up a sign that says I'm gonna bomb this airport? Like, like you should have some heightened scrutiny in some circumstances. Hassan just doesn't meet your threshold.
And I would be okay with some level of thing done to Hassan in the sense that maybe you could do a true threat investigation, but that's not what happened. It wasn't a true threat investigation. It was, and understand, guys, what a true threat is. A true threat could be criminalized, right? If you consider the statement made with respect to Rick Scott to be a true threat, you could throw Hassan in jail for it. It's not a true threat. This is classic political hyperbole. It protects Destiny, and I defended Destiny with his political hyperbole from a legal perspective. before. And there's a kind of like a case from, I think it's from the 60s, where someone was like, if I had a gun, or something like, I'm going to aim my sights at LBJ. I would aim my sights at LBJ. I am going to get a super chat somewhere.
Can you add
in a video game?
Halftosh to the call?
Oh, sure, yeah.
She wants to get in on this convo.
Sure, where is she?
She is.
Oh, she's Craig.
That's right.
Fuck?
That's right.
Watch this.
Got it.
Whatever. No big deal.
Got it. One sec. Let me just finish my point. Welcome, Taff. So there's a case from the 60s where someone was like, LBJ would be in my sights. And that was considered to be political hyperbole. It's basically a 1-to-1 to what Hassan, like the situation that Hassan is saying with Rick Scott. It's protected speech. It's not a true threat. This is...
Yeah, but you're operating based off of false information. The reality of the situation is that in terms of Hassan, all of that persecution hasn't actually like done, or like, hasn't even happened in the first place. Genuine question: why you so volatile? What?
So we're not in the realm of truth.
You mean volatile?
Threats. The same thing with, by the way, the gun schematic.
My
that is
personality, I guess. What am I supposed to say?
More to make it such. And so yeah, I'm okay with even potentially a true threat investigation there. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about another restriction, which is a global entry revocation. Welcome, Taff.
Hello.
Long time no talk. Didn't we talk like 2 weeks ago? I got to publish that.
Yeah, we spoke recently, but yeah, you do. I mean, you've got so much drama. I feel like your editor is slacking on it. You need to capitalize.
Yeah, I know. We just think that, like, because we were thinking about posting a version of this debate, but
increase cooldown.
It's already available in the VODs. Like, I don't know what the purpose is, just to like get people fucking triggered. But yeah, no.
Wait.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like you may as well
Wait a second.
make money from it. And people, I think your fans would prefer to support you on your
yes or no question. Why is you is yes or no question.
Destinies or whatever. But yeah, I've been following it. I like listened to your talk with Steven. I think I also watched a few of Destiny's like reactions to your podcast, which is crazy because I haven't like watched his stuff in forever. But I'm curious what you guys think about the analogy between like the right wing and the kind of like the Fuentes types in the corners, between like the more radical left and the liberals.
Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no, bitch?
Is Fuentes to the right
yes or no,
as Hassan is to the left?
Yeah, or at least in the sense that, here's how I see it. Seems like Republicans and conservatives tend to enjoy Fuentes types, or like very, very far right people being in their corner. They're pretty okay with that, and they're pretty good at sort of corralling those people. And I feel like Democrats could do that for socialists as well. I wonder if you think that is like, if they're necessarily in tension. I mean, I would guess you don't.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, no. For a couple of reasons. And I think
Dude, I also hate pretending to listen. I'm not backing up what you're saying, okay? Because I know almost nothing about Taftach, okay? All I know is that she's a conservative trans woman, I guess, maybe, and that's it, right? Yes.
If I did, I think it would that would prove Destiny's point.
What?
Because I think that Nick Fuentes is highly influential in a kind of ideological shift.
Taftach is neo-reactionary. That is a right wing. Are you fucking moron?
In the Republican Party.
What?
I don't see that of Hassan. And if you analogize them together, then I think because I do think that Nick Fuentes is a major threat, and I do think that it's really bad the Republican parties haven't like axed him or pressured more against him. They kind of just like adopted him, or at least his talking points. So if the analogy did follow, I think it would help prove Destiny's point.
You said conservative, not right-winger. There's more types of right-wingers than conservative. Who cares? Everyone uses these terms the same. Right-winger, conservative. What the fuck? Oh, guys, you don't understand. Everyone in society uses Dev's incredibly specific niche example that is derived specifically from political philosophy and the origins of these terms. Shut the fuck up. I know exactly what you're doing right now, okay? Oh, God.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think from Destiny's perspective,
Stop being so Voltaire.
he sees the right wing being really cohesive.
Stop! You call me a gooner? Okay, mister. I'm gonna have Tap on, and I'm an admitted chaser. Ah!
On stuff. And he has this impression that, like, when it comes down to it, the right wing will, like, organize, and they'll get out there and they'll vote, and they'll argue and they'll argue, but when it comes down to it, they'll kind of lock in.
Yeah, Dev. Foodshops is not a left-wing person. She is a liberal. Oh, wow. Well, what am I? Am I a neoliberal? Am I a liberal? Or am I a left-wing? Or am I a leftist? Or a leftoid? All of these have different definitions. I guess I better search it on my phone on what it is.
Fuentes, I think, interesting.
Also, you're gay and fat.
Really is, like, maybe not the best example of this, because he has been so kind of flip-floppy on Trump himself. And I think that he, like, envies that and wishes that the left wing.
I don't want anyone to say that I go easy on Dev ever again. Okay, hopefully that's proof enough.
Were similar, and I think that his frustration is that socialist left wing types hurt, like, the mainstream Democratic candidates by, at the end of the day, like, not locking in behind them. And yeah, I don't know. What do you make of that?
You can answer, but I guess I'll answer first. Sorry, my answer is, I do agree with Steven's frustration on that. Like, I to the extent.
Did he just say semen, not Steven?
If I'm understanding you correctly, Taff, it's something like the
Steven.
Right coalesces, the left eats itself. Something approaching that, right?
Semen.
I think that's his frustration. Yeah.
Yeah, I share that frustration. And I think Steven's right about that. 100%, I think he's right about that. There's no disagreement on that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I guess, like, would you agree with the idea that Democrats need to...
What are you talking about? This is my cafe.
...to be...
I'm kidding. Joking.
...changing their strategy or how they relate to socialists, if doing so would result in, like, punishing socialists for behavior, which is splitting the left-wing coalition?
I'm fatalistic about it in a sense, and maybe that's what's the bad thing, and maybe you guys can. So I basically think there's nothing the Democrats can do that isn't going to, like, there's a lane of lefties that exists, and there's a niche. There's like an evolutionary niche for these types.
Yeah, but theory brain people are insufferable. Like, the thing is that, like, it's just like any leftist person who tells you to read theory, right? If a right-winger told me to read theory or to read the works or whatever the fuck, I would also roll my eyes at them. Like, there is no difference for me between, like, a right-wing person who tells me to read theory or a moderate who tells me to read theory. Like, these people are just incredibly pretentious to me. I'm sorry. If you can't describe your philosophies and what you believe in 20 words or less, I'm not listening to you, okay? Yes, it is Zoomer brain, okay? But there is skill, and any old professor will also describe these concepts in 20 words or less, okay? And they know more about this kind of shit than anybody ever, okay? Which is exactly why, like, yeah, it's just like
types of people
in the discourse,
in the discourse, and we just need to accept the reality that we're playing with a stacked deck.
It's pretentious
because I don't know what the Democrats can do to corral the crazies on the left. I just don't. Maybe that makes me a fatalist. Maybe that makes me crazy. But I just see it's like fighting the ocean. What we have to do is make the best of a stacked deck, go on their platforms when it's useful for Democrats to do so, to make arguments.
I'm so glad that you just recited, like, oh, the works of, like, fucking chicken McNugget poo-poo head. Oh wow, you surely have taught me about the ways of chicken McShitty doodles or some shit. Okay, do you want, like, a fucking blowjob now? Like, do I tie my hair behind my, like, fucking head and then just, like, stuck fucking throttling your cock now?
Some people,
like, what do you want?
Basically, for me, it's like we're trying to stop the bleeding in different areas, but, like, we'll never be able to remove that evolutionary niche. But I want to hear if you disagree.
Yeah.
Well, if I understand your point, Tav, you're asking, you were saying, like, essentially Destiny's frustration is that a lot of socialists, and there's all this infighting, and a lot of socialists just don't lock in to ultimately support the Democratic candidate. Like, that's you think that's Destiny's fundamental frustration?
maybe not fundamental, but I do think it's part of his frustration.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, of course, that's part of his frustration. I think that the problem,
well, are you actually angry? No, I'm being mean.
I think the problem, though,
dude, I mean, you've talked to me off stream. You've seen me off stream. I'm just like normally myself, but also not myself. You get what I mean? Sorry? No, you're fine.
I think that Destiny is probably smart in that conversation to kind of moderate his criticism to...
Get Dev in the call? No, that's like a risk for a Yappuccino.
Okay, well, I'm only talking about socialists in the media sphere, right? Mm-hmm. And the reason, I think he's smart to do that because, and I'm not saying it's like a debate tactic or whatever, but like, I think that's like a reasonable moderation of his opinion because, obviously, when you actually poll socialists and like you look at like what do they do? Well, something like, depending on the poll, obviously,
they vote for Democrats.
Like 70 to 90% of people who call themselves socialists, like they vote for whoever the Democratic nominee is, right? And so the overwhelming majority of actually existing socialists, like they do like support the Democratic Party. And obviously when we're talking about like the activist base, like that's, they're represented in the activist base as well, right? That like, probably 10% of people who vote for Democrats are socialists. And, I'm just going to say like, like probably around 10% of them, or maybe they're a little bit over, a little bit underrepresented, are part of the actually existing activist base for the Democratic Party. And so, I mean, it's like, that's just, and that's an important thing to understand because obviously you should narrow your criticism to be the most accurate it can be, to the extent that his criticism is like, okay, well, I think it's really just the media figures that have this problem. We fully agreed on the podcast, like that. Yeah, like there's absolutely. I even said
there's
like,
like we didn't identify a media
but
figure.
What do you do about that?
But like, right? I don't know. I don't know.
We're agreeing on this problem, but it sounds like both of you have this feeling that there's like some issue with the radical left ultimately hurting causes you care about, and it seems like you guys, as people in the media, have the opportunity to like push back on these figures more so, and to really like call them out for splitting the coalition.
Wait, when was I not a mean girl? I feel like I've always been a mean girl.
That is like what Stephen wants you to do. I mean, is that something that like,
well, I don't know if it's effective, right? So maybe it's effective to push back in a forceful way. And I feel like if opportunities arise, especially with a Vanguard situation, like Hutch is one of...
Do you think Pisco is grifting here? No, I think he's just mind fucked. No. I don't really see like where exactly is he grifting? Like the thing is that, I mean, dude. Oh fuck. I mean maybe, but like the thing is that I don't think so. I think that like what is more probable, right? Like what is more probable? Is it the case that Pisco is grifting, or is it the case that Pisco is incredibly fucking prideful and egotistical and like he has been corrupted by chat and audience capture, right? By Destiny anti-fans. What do you think it is? Obviously, it's the latter, right? I think that is much more probable. He's been subliminally like fucking brainwashed by Destiny anti-fans.
Of us in the Live and Learn, he did push back strongly. We probably like tonally.
Like here's the reality, okay? Let's just say that you're a Destiny anti-fan. Okay, you launch a campaign. You launch a campaign to influence Pisco now that he's separated himself, right? So you insert all of your anti-fans into Pisco's like chat and infiltrate his Discord server and get into his orbit. Like, what do you think is gonna happen? What do you think is gonna happen? You're gonna subliminally influence him. It doesn't matter. Like Pisco, like Pisco might not hate Destiny or love like Hassan this much, if not for like all these people jumping on the opportunity to influence Pisco after he separated from Steven, right? Like the thing is that I think that's the reality of the situation. Anyway, yeah.
We're weaker in terms of our tonal refutation of the specific points on the Vanguard, but
I mean, and the sad reality here is that it worked. The sad reality is that it worked, right? That's the sad reality. Yes?
I understand not wanting to get in.
To be honest, I'm analyzing because it seems like Destiny Ops has been in his ear for that, dude. Yeah, exactly. No. Destiny Ops have been like fucking worm-tonguing their way into like Pisco's. You literally saw like Queeman and other Queeman watchers in his chat. You see it. You see it. Okay, it's not me being conspiracy brain. It's not me like speculating. It's happening, right?
It's like a blood sports debate.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, right? Like the same thing that the criticism now is that like I was too unhinged, I was too loud, I was too acrimonious, with Destiny. But like I guess that's what they wanted for me to do with the Vanguard, even though we already had like Hutch going pretty hard, and but like
and he's using anti-fan lingo as well, which is like the funniest part to me. Like for me, like using like terms like white blood cell was hella weird. Like that just came out of nowhere. Just FYI, like I don't even think like I don't even think like ex-Destiny orbiters use that term. I don't think so. None of them use that term, except for like the most hardcore of Destiny anti-fans use the term white blood cells, like J-Stalk and stuff like that. When Pisco starts using that, ooh, you know, I'm not saying it's like one symptom and now I determine him to be anti-fan. I think it's a collection or a pattern of behavior that demonstrates beyond the shadow of a doubt that he is influenced to some degree, and I think that has been demonstrated. Okay. I mean, look, and Aaron, Pisco's co-host, and Aaron too. Yes, exactly. And Aaron, I'm pretty sure Aaron is in and out of like the Queenman circles. No?
All that aside is
100%.
What's the evidence that the best thing to do, like, isn't this a kind of Joe Manchin point in reverse? Like, do we want to burn the bridge so that we're not even allowed on these platforms? And so, or like we're not being invited to these shows, or that we're saying like these people suck. Like if I could put a tweet out saying, Kyle Kalinske, you are a cuck bitch for saying that, you know, whatever about Biden, or saying whatever you want about Pete, or saying that thing about
okay, another piece of evidence is this. Do you really think that Pisco would not debate Destiny on this if he held these beliefs before the separation? I think Pisco would, 100%. Pisco is exactly the kind of person who loves to pick a fight with Destiny whenever he could. All right, there's a 100% chance that Pisco just jumps in stream one day to argue with Destiny on this, 100%. But the thing is that the reason why this started after the separation is because before then it wouldn't been an opportune time to try to separate him from Destiny and use him as a cudgel or a useful idiot for Destiny anti-fans, right? So the thing is that like, yeah. And I mean, again, you see it, right? J-Stalk and Queenman, they glaze Pisco. They glaze Pisco like crazy. And that has to be intoxicating for Pisco. That has to be intoxicating for Pisco to hear, right? And it's intoxicating on purpose, right? Because anyone who is weak of mind like Pisco, who has like this kind of, I don't know, like who has this kind of like who is susceptible to ego and susceptible to like his insecurities, anyone like that could easily be easily influenced by flattery, much like Trump. But yeah, I think I smell Pisco's brain cells. Sorry. No. Dude, what is with the server right now? What the fuck is going on?
How does that help?
I do think that there's a real way in which social forces and what people perceive as popular or fashionable plays into belief formation. And if people are seeing that the social winds are not on the side of socialists, I do think that that would ultimately shift people's opinions. This is just like a gut instinct. Like, I don't know if I can't cite a study for you. Maybe someone in the chat can. Someone knows more about it than I do. But I think that maybe there's also like there's a few like deeper things going on here. One of those things I think is kind of like an emotional thing, or like a framing thing, where like I think Steven is like really frustrated seeing people who...
I knew it, okay? Pisco only listens to people with e-girl voices, okay? If you're someone who is an e-girl, Pisco will forever listen to you, okay? Look how patiently he is just sitting there and taking it in the ass, okay? That's a joke, okay?
Have such radically different ideals than him, and also people who he knows like really hate him. He hates seeing them gain like any ground in the public discourse, and so in a way, like you're discussing this, and you're discussing it
because he wants to be the guy. He wants to be the guy.
Yeah, he wants to be the guy.
Well, yeah, of course.
Like,
there's nothing wrong with that.
And I think that like you're discussing like these grand political arguments, but it's also like
but you also want to be the guy, Pisco.
And like fundamentally, you're kind of discussing like, should you listen to Destiny or Hassan, who hates Destiny? And he's like arguing from that.
That's a false dichotomy, right? Like, and I think you acknowledge that. I don't think that you're presenting it.
Bro, this is why like men need to go to therapy. Okay, okay, yes, I am pulling out the feminist talking points. Okay, the reason why men need to go to therapy is because like I just can't stand all of these people like falling for like the stupid fucking like because they have such fragile egos and they're so fucking susceptible to like flattery and shit. They turn anti-fan once they have enough anti-fans in their audience glazing them. They have enough anti-fans in their audience glazing them, and they automatically become a fucking anti. Listen, it's not Queeman's fault. It's not. They're just simply doing their job. Okay, this is just what they do. But it's up to you because you're the content creator at the end of the day. Okay, you have autonomy over your own actions. If you decide that you yourself is going to be susceptible to like the influence, to like the fucking dark side of the force or some shit, then yeah, of course. Then you have nobody to blame but yourself, because anti-fans will always be there. They are a perpetual force. Okay, they'll forever be there. But you know, it's only your fault that you started falling for it, you fucking victim. Anyway, this makes me think it doesn't stop at videos. It happens with his chatter telling him shit he believes it blindly, sure. So if Jay Stokes' community is whispering shit into Pisco's ear, he just listen to it. Well, I mean, I think it's like a combination. It's a coordinate effort, right? Like how many? Okay, here's a question. Okay, I don't even need to double check this because I know I'm right. How many anti-fans do you think stay in Pisco's server right now as of me like saying this? Right? How many anti-fans do you think are in Pisco's server? Right? The answer is all of them, okay? That's what it is.
As though that it's the real situation, but like yeah, I think you're just presenting what it feels like, and I agree that the emotionality is behind it. But like I think that Steven wants to be the guy, and he doesn't like. And I think that's a lot of what's going on. And now you could say I can't prove that, I can't whatever, but like
I wish it was.
Explain this, right? So. If presented, before Hutch presented those tweets about AOC, I can tell you honestly, I did not see those tweets being critical of AOC before that podcast. And when we saw them, when Hutch presented them, I condemned them. I didn't like them. Explain to me, right, the position which makes sense of and makes light of, that what we did is insufficiently vitriolic against the people who criticize AOC, who didn't, by the way, say that AOC, most of them, will never vote for them. You're an absolute you are wrong on everything, but just like very harshly critique her position. Makes sense of the fact that what we did on that show, when we criticized those tweets and that response, is insufficient. But the pushback that Steven gives against Myron Gaines when he's having him on pussyfooting around with him and being very cordial, that is sufficient. They're both cordial disagreements. And in what sense is one okay and one not okay? Like make sense of that for me. When do we need to be vitriolic to the point of calling them loser fucks, calling it and basically engaging in potentially relationship breaking invective versus polite?
Bro, if I was Pisco's therapist, I'll be like, can you show me on the doll where Destiny touched you? Oh God. Okay, sorry.
Polite disagreement. Strong, forceful disagreement, but polite disagreement, like on our show. I don't know if that question was.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my sense of Destiny is, I don't know that. My sense is that I don't know that he wants to like quote unquote be the guy or whatever. I guess maybe I just don't know as much, but that's not really my sense. I think that he just has.
It's hard to mind read.
Yeah, he just has. I think that what I would say is that he just has a genuine. To Taftaj's point, like he has a genuine, consistent, and like negative experience with a lot of online socialists, where like,
yes,
a lot of socialists have been
who doesn't,
who doesn't obviously like highly like uncharitable and like critical or whatever, and obviously like Destiny deserves like a lot of criticism. I don't think anybody here would disagree with that, but I think that that's one of the main. Like you said, like could be like one of the main reasons why this is just like such a, kind of like not personal, but like it's such a sticking point to Destiny, I guess. But that's one of the reasons why, like for me, the thing that started this all was the conversation that we had about what do you call it, AOC with the Vanguard, and like how the guys were like everyone was like super critical of her vote to defund the Iron Dome or whatever.
Yeah.
Or her vote not to defund the Iron Dome. And like for me, the reason why my reaction was like essentially like, yeah, I mean, I disagree with like how vitriolic people are being, but I just don't think that it's going to be that big of a deal for AOC's political career, was it's like I'm coming to that conversation from like an extremely what I think to be like very sober point of view. I'm like, look, I mean, it's bad.
Sweeping. Yeah, you're treated as sweeping. You're treated like you just said that. None of these, and even Stephen tried it then, where it's like, you're saying these people don't have any relevance in any respect. When you were very calibrated in what you said. You're like, this specific thing, I don't think will have any major detrimental effect on her politically at all. That's all you said.
Yeah, but I think that's where like maybe me and Destiny are a little bit different, because he feels like he has like for a number of reasons, like he feels like he just has like a good reason to be very a lot more like militant in his criticism of these figures. And to some degree, we could say like descriptively, I guess like he does have that reason.
I mean, back then, again, okay, just keep in mind that Destiny like got fucked over by getting banned from Twitch because one of Vosh's fucking boy toy femboys named Conyer posted the fucking militia the militia clip, right? To the point where he like essentially $187,000 per year went up in smoke, according to him, right? And then later on, did you know that Mr. Girl is also technically a leftist? Like he doesn't really talk about his personal like fucking politics or whatever, but I remember that whenever Mr. Girl talks about his politics, he's also kind of a leftist. He doesn't identify as one, but like it just comes off as like definitely like more leftist leaning. And then if you like, gosh, and then when it comes to Hassan became successful, and obviously Steven has a right to be salty and jealous about that. But the thing is that like, it's just like people have just been done dirty, anyway.
That like he has had like a genuinely very negative experience.
Like, do you really think that he doesn't have a justified anger towards these people? And for the record, leftists aren't even good to other leftists. Like I have seen the most that leftists ever fight anyone is not Destiny, but themselves.
Experience with these people, but
completely ineffective, useless group of people.
Like I think, and to some extent, I'm not saying like Destiny's like blinded by his just irrational hatred of socialists. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that like we could at least like understand that like his lived experience with like these people is so highly negative that that's just gonna like understandably like that's gonna like tint his view of this like broader apparatus, right? Which would lead to like a statement something like everyone who uses label socialist should be treated like a Nazi. But then, like, when we really deconstruct that view, he kind of, like, narrows and says, like, well, no, actually, like, I'm really just talking about the media figures and, like, takes a more sensible position. I think, I guess I kind of agree in part with, that's a long way of saying, I kind of agree in part with what you're saying, Tafshosh.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, like, a few factors here. And one of the advantages to you guys in the conversation genuinely, I think, is that Steven is he's arguing on these two levels simultaneously. So he's arguing on like the level of facts and the political dimensions. And then he's also arguing on this kind of like personal level. And he doesn't want to like give ground there either. So he's going to avoid lines of argumentation that maybe make him look bad personally. The other thing that I'm thinking about while listening to this is there is like a real values difference here. So like you're talking about how you have these like very reasonable takes on AOC and all of these other people, or you have these reasonable takes in various situations where you are not overly critiquing, in your view, the left wing or the socialist wing. You yourself are a socialist.
These guys should try to watch Destiny's reaction to them to see the criticism instead of various streams of guessing and debating DGers. Yeah, I mean, like, part like, dude, like, because I just don't think Pisco Kim was. I think he does watch Destiny streams. I think he watches every single one of Destiny streams on him. Okay, that's what I think. However, the thing is that like what goes in one ear, I feel like he's just on some next level copium. Okay,
I think
that's it. Also, he's like actively crashing out. Okay, when you're in crash out mode, like things just never make sense to you anymore. Like you're just kind of like perpetually in like destruction mode.
Well, I'm curious to ask you guys, like, if it is true that the way that you conduct yourself gives ground to the more radical elements of the left wing, I don't think that's.
He needs to watch videos of the people. He watched the content nuke, dude. Pisco watched the content nuke. If you guys do not know. He watched the content nuke. So yeah.